And what I wanted to share with you is that there's a time in our lives where we have a great awakening. And with this awakening, we began to look at our life. We began to look at what we're accomplishing. We began to ask what are our questions, what are we here for, what is our purpose, what are we supposed to do. And it varies with everyone, but it's usually those in the 50s and up that have reached a point in their life where they begin to question their life and their life path. And I know for me, I sat back many times and say, what am I here for? What am I supposed to do? And I questioned that all the way back into my teenage years. And you know what? We are trying to control our lives to such a state that we miss out on things. And truly, we're beginning to learn what is important in our life. And I want to ask every one of you to think about what is important. Now, if everything is but an experience and everything is fleeting, and we're always in a state of flux, in other words, always in a state of change, and things are always changing, then what is important in your life? So what is important at age 10, and age 20, and age 30, and age 40, and age 50? It changes and changes and changes. And one of the things we have to learn to do in our life is called trust. We have to trust that we're being guided. Too many people I talk to, they have to control everything in their lives. And one of my clients that, I'm not going to mention their name, I don't think they're on the phone tonight, was we were always arguing back and that it has to be done this way, and nothing's working, and on and on and on and on and on and on. And finally this person had a revelation that, oh my gosh, when Michael's finally saying, I got it. It took her 10 months, but she finally got it, much to my joy and happiness in her life. So we are getting messages 24/7. Whether you get the message in your dreams, or you get the messages in your meditations, or somebody comes up and says something to you. Many people have told me someone will come up and say, I have a message from you, from Jesus, or from God, or from your mother who's passed away, gives a message and walks away. That's it. And you go, where'd that come from? The reason you're getting these messages is because you're not listening. You know, I talked about in one of my handouts was sometimes we are the teacher and you are the student, and sometimes you are the teacher and I'm the student. So we're always learning from each other, and we have to be awake. But one of the things in being awake is when the door opens, you should take the opportunity to walk through the door. Means take action. For example, Michael, my friend Dean, some of you met him when I was at my book launch, and he was my host. I heard, call Dean. Okay, so I picked up the phone when I was driving to see a client. Hi, Dean. He said, what, are you in touch with the universe? I was thinking about you, wanted to talk to you. And I just called him up, called him on the phone because I heard, call Dean. So that's taking action and following through. Or perhaps I'll sit down and I want something to eat, and I hear, nope, you need to eat that. You go, okay. So I've learned to do that, because when I eat something that I'm told not to eat, I don't feel very comfortable, or I have trouble sleeping, or it doesn't agree with me. Not that I get heartburn, but it just doesn't agree with me. So we're always getting messages, and what we need to do is take action. If something's not working in our life, we got to go, why is this not working in my life? Is it the wrong thing for me to do? Am I not listening? Am I not taking action? And there are times, I remember Maddie Nolan, who is a Tibetan teacher, has traveled all over the world, and I first met her and we became very close friends. And I was at a intuitive place, and she drove her car in. She said, my car still drove me here. I'm supposed to see someone. I don't know who it is. You. She sat down with me, and we became very close friends. Yeah, I helped actually bring up her son, and who's a very close friend of mine now. I'm like a second father to him. So everything happens for a purpose, and she was listening and taking action to it. And that's the point I want to bring out with each one of you. You're not really listening. You know, if you say you want more money in your life, because that's what most people, let's see, this is what I get. Money, health, and relationships. That's what I get 95% of the time or 90% of the time. I go, wow, I realize that's important, but what a waste. There's much more to life than that is. What brings you joy, happiness? What brings fun in your life? Why are you here? Why aren't you enjoying life? You know, there's so much hate and anger and insecurity on this planet right now. And everybody is, you know, me. That's what it's all about. What's in it for me? And it's so interesting that they've lost sight why they're here, what their purpose is. We're supposed to enjoy this planet. This planet was created out of love, by love, and from love. And it got all mucked up. It got mucked up by ETs, and we're mucking it up, and we're messing it up. And, you know, if we don't get it right, well, then, you know, we're going to come back on this planet or somewhere else to learn whatever we're supposed to learn. It's not a punishment. It's like, hey, you know, the three most important things we're all here for: self-worth, self-love, and self-esteem. And yet we're not listening to ourselves, to our higher self, our oversouls, our soul, or our guides or angels, the celestial beings, because we're so focused on one thing, we're missing out on life. You know, I talked to you before about what makes your life sing, what makes your heart sing, what gives you joy. So tonight it might be working with somebody that I have a lot of fun with and enjoy. Tomorrow it may be going out to dinner. The next day may be going to a movie. The next day may be, and I love to have a cigar, and I haven't had a cigar in 3 or 4 weeks, so maybe I'm meeting with some friends, which I will be, Saturday evening, and having a cigar and shooting the breeze and having a great conversation. So that's what I'm trying to impress upon all of you, is that you're so wrapped up in what you're supposed to be doing that you forgot how to live. You forgot how to enjoy life. And sometimes the simplest things in life are great. Now, one of the things is that someone was talking to me many years ago, and they were saying, Michael, you know why I love to fish? The greatest thing in fishing, not catching a fish. It's just sitting there with a Coke or a root beer or something to nibble on, and maybe a beer, throwing in the fish line and just enjoying the waters that flows by, looking at the eagles, feel the wind, look at the kids playing, or just enjoying the solitude. That's the greatest thing about fishing. And you know, when I realized that, and I said that I hadn't fished in a long time, and I went fishing, I said, you know, this person is actually right. I learned a very valuable lesson. You know, the children of today are really missing out in life. And their brain waves and brain is being changed by being on the computer and on their phones and all that stuff. And they forgot how to live. They forgot what brings them into life. So as we say, there's a whole bunch of millennials or whatever you want to call them, not all of them, that feel entitled. That's not what they came here, to be spoiled and everything given to them. They came here to learn about life, to experience life, and realizing they can create life. But you are creating your life 24/7 by your thoughts. And we have to be aware of our thoughts. We have to be cognizant of what we're doing in life. And we have to wonder what brings love and joy in our life. And I was just talking to someone the other day, and he said, you know, I really respect you. And I said, well, why? He said, because you were so concentrating on doing your work and writing your book that you decided not to have a relationship in your life, another woman in your life. And I said, you're right, because I knew I would be distracted. And my work alone that I do is something I have great passion for. I love it. I can't get enough of it. But I also know I need time for Michael. And I used to sit down to write my book, and that was from about 11 to 1 o'clock in the morning as a whole. That's what I would do almost every night. But that was a time when I received true inner source guidance. And even now, when I receive true inner source guidance, it always comes around 11:30 at night, and I jot it down, and then I begin to write different articles. And I'll share this with you. I hate to write. Hate it with a passion, because I don't type. That's one of the reasons. And it's so hard to get my thoughts down fast enough. And then I have voice recognition, which is called Dragon Naturally Speaking, and I use that to write my book, and it was so much fun. And about 3 weeks ago, I woke up one morning and said, I love to write. Where'd that come from? I love to write. Yeah, I do. But you see, that's part of my Akashic Records, is that I'm supposed to write many, many books and articles, and it's going to be flowing over the next 20 years or more. Lots of different things. And I realize that I have so much to share with you. And that's why I deliver these messages, because I want you to realize that you're empowered. I want you to stop and smell the flowers. I want you to realize that you're unlimited. I want you to realize that you can create the joy without being stressed about it. Because sometimes when we have a stress, it's like, I desire more abundance in my life. Okay, I put it out to True Source. But see, 2 minutes went by, no phones have rang. Maybe it's not going to come. This person promised me something, hasn't happened yet. The minute you start that stuff, you are throwing up a 30-foot wall to block it. That's what you're doing. Are you doing it intentionally? Absolutely not. But because you don't trust, you don't believe, whether it was from past life experiences or current life experiences, you hold back on everything being created in your life. Or one becomes single-minded. It has to be this way or the highway. And I remember one of my students said she needed a house, and she wanted to buy a house. And I said, that's great. Let's do a manifestation. Well, she said, I first have to win the lottery. Then after I win the lottery, then I can buy the house. I said, well, that's 2 manifestations. Why do you want to do that? Well, it's the only way I can get a house. And I go, why are you limiting yourself? You already placed a 4-foot wall in front of you. And she got annoyed with me. Well, how do I do it? So we did it. We put it out to the true Source that she has the prosperity and abundance to buy her perfect house, whatever that was. And at that point, she was looking for a 2-bedroom house because that's all she could afford. Well, about 2-3 months later, she told me a relative called up an aunt that was passing away, and she said, I want to get you something. And she said, would you like a house? She said, oh, I'd love a house. Good. She said, then I'm going to buy you a house before I pass away. She said, really? Really? And so they went online because the aunt was in California and she was here in Tacoma. And the aunt said, that looks like a great house. Well, it's got 4 bedrooms. So what? That looks like the perfect house. I'm buying it, and bought it for her. So we're not supposed to determine how it works. We just throw it out. And I always say, when you do it, throw out the thought, true inner source guidance. True Source always told me, Michael, it's going to be my time, which is the perfect time for you. And it has never, ever failed. It's only when we have opposition to it that we slow it down or prevent it from happening. So I want to leave you with this thought. And leaving you with this thought is that you need to understand that there are no limitations in your life except self-imposed limitations. There are no blocks in your life except self-imposed blocks in your life. Realize that you are unlimited here to experience everything. So go for it. And realize if something's not working, then maybe it's not right for you, or maybe you need to change your thought or your direction. And if it still doesn't work, there's a message, hey, you're not supposed to be doing that. You know my motto, if you don't know where you're going, you can't get lost. I have done so many things in my life. None of them were consciously planned. Door opened up and I just went in it. Chain of delis and ice cream stores just opened up. I was in marketing sales, it opened up. Nursing home business, open it up. Buying and selling business, open it up. College professor, open it up. On and on and on. Nothing was planned. It just went one right after another. Now, I will tell you in my Akashic Records, this was planned, but I was not aware of it at that time. But all these experiences in life, as I questioned it, what is it for? And I was told that you're going to help people. Because the main difference with you, when you teach, you lived it, you experienced it, you did it, Michael. I said, great. And remember when I was talking to True Source, when I was told to teach, and I was told it's going to take 3 or 4 years or less? I said it wasn't fair, because it took me 30 years to get here. And that's what the True Source told me. But you lived it and experienced it. So they're going to get it in 3 or 4 years or less if they follow it. So anyone and everyone, listen to this. Listen to your thoughts. Listen to your dreams. And go for your dreams. And don't direct how it should happen. Just let it happen the way it's supposed to happen. And when I say of dreams, it's not your dream state, but follow your dreams to enjoy life. And don't hang on to things. Share. Share, share, and share. And the more you give out, the more you get back. So everyone, have a great week. Thank you so much. And again,